I've always tried to use the most popular monsters. I mean, that was one of the things that, being an avid player of the video game, I knew which the best monsters were and which the fan favorites were. First and foremost, it had to be the dogs. Then the lickers came second, then the nemesis. Some great additions have been the bloodshot, and of course the flying creature in this movie that was hinted at the end of the last film.
My favorite creature, I would say, would be the zombie dogs. I love the dogs. I remember they would like put these wet napkins like full of yucky like gel and fake blood and corn syrup, and they would just like hang them on the dogs' bodies. And
they were wearing like a zombie jacket. The makeup was on their bodies and their legs. The only CG part of those dogs were their faces, because you couldn't put zombie makeup on their faces because they would just lick it off. It was all about those dogs because they could only work in the morning, and you couldn't have any food on set because they'd smell the food and get distracted. And we had to build the sets just for them and then walk them around the sets as we were slowly building them so they could get used to them. It's a great scene, but it's a fairly short scene, but that was like months worth of work to get there. In this movie, they've undergone a major evolution. This is the first time that we've actually just used CG dogs. We've always used real dogs with CG enhancement beforehand. And, you know, there's only so much you can do with real dogs. I mean, the good thing is they give you a reality, but, you know, they can't run full pelt. You can't shoot them with heavy machine guns. You can't fling them through the air because they're nice little dogs. And this time, you know, I felt confident that our visual effects house could really build these things full-on CG. They would look totally photoreal, look amazing, and I think they do. And it freed me up not using real animals.
They run and the dogs then chase.
Because then you guys could just run like crazy because these dogs were going to go faster than you. We shot for 3 days in that quarry in South Africa. And on the 4th day, that was the day I asked you all to jump into that lake. And I've never seen actors so happy to jump in a swampy lake in the middle of a quarry ever, because everyone was just so happy not to have to run anymore.
That was like 4 consecutive all-nighters running all night long.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
It has so much energy to it. It's so dynamic. It kind of reminds me of an animated sequence from the very first video game where they're running through the forest towards the mansion. And that really was the inspiration for this scene, which is something I've always wanted to shoot.